Virginia Cavaliers and the Missouri Tigers kicking off at 7:30. Tickets for the game are still available, so make sure to purchase some. Log on to TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com and don't miss out on the action. It's 78 degrees at 2 o'clock time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
All right, welcome in. I was not here yesterday, so I'm going to Victory Tuesday this, and I'm joined by Hacker today. Hacks, thanks for hopping on. I know you went through everything yesterday, but I do want to talk about, I haven't been able to fully discuss this game yet, and I feel like at this point in time, an 11-4 Jags now clinch a playoff spot because the Colts lose last night, and so this is a very victorious time here in Duval.
In Duval, no question about it, but what a weekend you had. What a 20-hour period from the craziness at Soldier Field Saturday night, which I know you were at. Happy belated birthday, by the way. To the Jaguars doing what they did at Mile High. Boy, you are on a high right now.
Yeah, it was probably the craziest game I've witnessed in person, and I've seen some wild ones when it comes to being at the Bears-Packers game because, you're down 10 points with 5 minutes left. It was the coldest I've ever been. I was talking to you a little bit that off air. I've been at snow games. I've been at slushy, icy, rainy games. This was freezing. Like with the wind chill, it was like 13 halfway through the fourth quarter. I was sitting right directly where the wind was blowing in my face, and so I had the wind burn, like red face everywhere. But yeah, totally worth it because that happens on Saturday and then Sunday, the way that went down and the Jags being able to win. And I think that we're at this place, Hacker, where you're talking about expectations preseason. I personally, when we went through and picked the schedule, I had the Jags winning 10 games. And I think a lot of it for me was I felt last year a lot of the issues that they had were directly related to coaching. I thought that they had talent. Was it one of the best teams in the NFL and the AFC? No. But I always thought there was too much talent on the Jags and that they were playing people out of position. You talk about not playing Eric Armstead or Foye in the right spot. There were so many issues last year that I think coaching staff alone, they would have had an extra 3-4 wins at least. That, to me, directly correlated to having at least 10 wins this season, and now you're seeing them already surpass that.
Well, the crazy thing, and there are quite a few crazy things, but let's start right at the top. It's the first 11-win or more season for the Jaguars dating back to 2007, which is a crazy thing to think about. This radio station started, 1010XL started in 2007, and that's the last time the Jaguars won 11 or more games in a regular season. So there's that. And then, I made this comment last night, and it's in regards to Liam Cohen. And I think the secret's finally out nationally. I think Liam Cohen is finally now getting credit that he should have gotten for the last couple of weeks minimum. Since Coughlin, you probably have to go back to Coughlin, there has not been a head coach here in Jacksonville that has related to the fan base more than Liam Cohen. Now, is it the NFL coach's job in a particular market to relate to the fan base? No, it isn't. No. It's their job to win. But if they win and they relate to the fan base,
you're a hero.
Well, then you have a grand slam on your hands. And for Liam Cohen to just throw the shade at Sean Payton that he did about the small market, Liam Cohen goes public with all these press conferences about lack of respect and this, that, or the other. That's what you and I have been talking about, 1010XL, Jaguar fans, for years and years and years. Is the small market keeping Fred Taylor out of the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Is the small market keeping Jimmy Smith out of the Hall of Fame? I can't tell you over the last 10 years how many interviews out of market I've done. Talked about London. Or first I talked about L.A. And then two teams moved to L.A. And then it was London. And then it was Tarps. And the lack of respect is just maddening at times. And, whether it was Malarkey or Gus Bradley or Doug Marrone or Urban or Peterson, you never heard a coach kind of defend the city, defend the organization. And I think Baselli has helped Cohen with this to understand it. Cohen has dove headfirst into that. Yeah. And Jaguar fans love the guy for it.
That's what you want so badly here, because you want to feel like your coach has your back, as in the city. And it does feel like Liam Cohen has that. I played that clip on Friday of Sean Payton saying that. And I always try and do from the opposition. I like to hear what the other players and coaches are playing or saying. So I always listen and go through and play several clips from whatever opposing team is. And I played that clip, and at the end I looked at Tommy and I just said, what does that even mean? Like, what are you trying to do in that scenario? And I don't know if he was actually trying to throw. I think he was just kind of like, they're doing great, they're a small market and they're doing really great, and like I don't know if he meant to offend, but you said it, and now at this point you're going to use that as fuel. And we saw that earlier in the year with Saleh, and how Liam Cohen met the non-handshake in the middle, and there was kind of that between them. Liam Cohen has fully embraced that this city does always feels like underdogs and never gets appreciated and never gets the love. You're finally now this week, Hacker, after a win against the Broncos, seeing people be like, oh, this team's real. Like, this team has the possibility of being one of the best, if not right now, being the best team in the AFC.
It only took till Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 11-4. Right. That's absolutely incredible. They've won 6 in a row and 7 out of 8. Although I think the Jaguars, if they want to continue the disrespect game, they got exactly what they needed today. It is a joke that only one Pro Bowler on this football team. And kudos to Ross Madison for getting in.
So,
third year in a row as the long snapper. But it's preposterous that Trevor Lawrence, Devin Lloyd, good grief. Devin Lloyd.
Foye again.
Yeah, Foye again.
Gets screwed over every single year.
I mean, look, the Pro Bowl is what it is, but it's also a popularity contest. And the fact that the Jaguars, the Tennessee Titans, the 3-win Tennessee Titans have more Pro Bowlers than the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah. And by the way, I think Liam Cohen is just kind of cackling to himself in his office. Okay. That's exactly what he's going to use this week moving forward.
Yeah, and that's what, to your point, so Pro Bowl, Ross Madison makes it. Devin Lloyd, Parker Washington, Trevor Lawrence, ETN are alternates, but I think that most people could make an argument. I mean, there's guys, and look, Joe Alt, for example. Joe Alt is fantastic. We know what type of player he is. He played 6 games, and he's a Pro Bowler. Like, what, to me, if you're going to give out awards to somebody who is a Pro Bowl player, then you're talking about somebody who has played the majority of the season. If you're not going to keep it that way, then you're looking at the last 6 games by Trevor Lawrence and by Parker Washington and Jacoby Myers and some of these guys, and saying that they've impacted this team more than some of these other players that have made the Pro Bowl. But yeah, that's where the Jacksonville side comes in, and you're like, all right, well, if it wasn't in Jacksonville, if Trevor Lawrence played in New England, would he be in the Pro Bowl right now?
Well, the fact that Herbert's in and Lawrence isn't is ridiculous. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has been better than Justin Herbert this year. But, you mentioned making the playoffs last night. It was kind of a full circle moment, because I thought back, Jacksonville traveling to Indianapolis this Sunday. You remember last year when the Jaguars were in Indy? Mm-hmm. It was January 5th of 2025. Yeah. It was week 18. That was this calendar year. So crazy. That was this year that the Jaguars wrapped up a 4-13 campaign. They fired Doug Peterson the very next day, and then ultimately 2.5 weeks later, they would fire Trent Baalke. But now the Jaguars are going back to Indy in the same calendar year that they ended at January 5th and now December, whatever it be, December 28th. And you've gone from 4-13 to 11-4 and being arguably the best team in the American Football Conference. What a testament to the job Tony Baselli, James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, and then more so than any of them, Shad Khan, for finally seeing the light to get the nonsense out of here, Trent Baalke, and hire these guys, and you see the results that it's getting. Yeah, and you go back to in the decision, people were kind of frustrated. Well, we're very frustrated when Trent Baalke wasn't let go initially, and then, yes, a couple weeks later he was let go. And I remember the storylines, Hacker, were being, okay, well, now you waited too long. There's less time for them to prepare for the combine and for free agency and all of these things. And then now you're looking at a team who has 11 wins. And honestly, I would not be shocked if they end up with 13 wins in the regular season. And that's what it feels like. I don't know if there's a team in the AFC that I'm scared that the Jags can't beat at this point in time. The crazy thing, and I know we'll talk about this today and tomorrow, but this Indianapolis game on Sunday, it's going to be really interesting because of Saturday night, Texans-Chargers. Now, there's part of me, obviously, that wants the Chargers to beat the Texans. But if the Chargers beat the Texans, that gives the Colts life. That means the Colts control their destiny. win Jacksonville, win Houston, the Colts are all of a sudden in the playoffs. Yeah. If Houston wins Saturday night, the Colts are officially eliminated, which to me would be an air out of the balloon moment when you play them 12 hours later, Sunday at 1 o'clock. So I'm still probably rooting for the Chargers, but I don't think a Texans win is the worst thing in the world on Saturday because, again, that would officially eliminate Indy, and you can't tell me that wouldn't have an effect on them going into that game on Sunday.
Well, yeah, and I think to that point, you just feel like just win. I mean, the Jags just need a win. So you almost are so confident in the team, at least I am, that you're not worried about what other people are really doing at this point in time because I truly feel like they can win these final 2 games.
And to me, part of that, and I agree with you, and I needed to get to that point because I have a lot of Jaguar-related football stress disorder. Indy has not been a good place for the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Indy hasn't won down here in like 100 years. The Jaguars don't do well up there historically. No. Even the good Jaguar teams haven't done well up there. So I got to list some residuals from that. But I agree. Yeah. No matter the situation on Saturday night between the Texans and the Chargers, the Jaguars are playing well enough now. They should be able to go up there and take care of business.
Yeah, and I looking at the other playoff right now. There's 2 games left, obviously, and there's still definitely some teams that can go in or out depending what happens this weekend and the final weekend. I think this is another season, which happened last year, where there's going to be games in Week 18 that are determining who gets in the postseason and who even just gets the chance to make it to the postseason.
There'll certainly be games that'll decide seeding.
Seeding for sure. And so right now at this point in time, Denver and Seattle have the 1 seeds and a bye. Houston would play at New England, Buffalo at Jacksonville. That's familiar for here. Chargers at Pittsburgh, Green Bay at Chicago, Rams at Eagles, and San Fran at Carolina. Look at the Panthers. Look at the Panthers. What a crazy football season. That's kind of what the storyline has been from the start, Hacker. I feel like every single week I was like, I don't really know who's good. Outside of the Rams, I feel like the Rams from week 1 have been one of the teams that you're most confident in to be able to win week in and week out. Everybody else, I feel like you've been just trying to figure out, and now things are starting to shake out where you're seeing the good teams, and Jaguars are in that group.
Oh, the Jaguars are absolutely in that tier, and the AFC is such a jumbled mess right now with no Mahomes, probably no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow. You just kind of throw them all in there. By the way, if it is Buffalo here, which it very well may be, although I still think the Chargers coming here is a real possibility depending on what happens with them. They still have Houston and Denver. But let's just say it is Buffalo because it would be right now. I think that would be a blessing in disguise for the Jaguars because not one person would pick them to win outside of Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Denver might even be the favorite in that game on Wild Card Weekend coming to Jacksonville. I just get the sense you want to play the disrespect card still in the postseason. Let Josh Allen and Buffalo come here and let you be a home underdog on Wild Card Weekend. That would certainly rev the Jaguars' engines a little bit.
Well, Liam Cohen said they play their best when they're pissed off. And we've seen it several weeks now in a row, and whatever gets them to that point, go for it. So we will. Let's chat some more Jags. We'll also get into, I want to talk a little bit of college football today, too. Lots of football to talk, some fun stuff happening when you talk about some of the scenarios that may happen in both college football and the NFL. So we'll get to some of that stuff coming up next, right here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
From the Green Law Group Studios.
He was the best back in Jacksonville.
It has to be Fred Taylor.
Fred Taylor joins Dan and Jeff on the drill Monday mornings at 8:30.
A tough guy.
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
When the team heats up and the temps climb high, Sunrise Heating and AC keeps you cool. That's no lie. From kickoff to overtime and every long drive, they'll keep your home feeling fresh and alive. When your system's down, don't sweat the score. Sunrise Heating and AC of North Florida is ready to restore. Fast, honest service from a local crew, keeping Jacksonville fans chill all season through. Your comfort starts here at sunriseheatingandac.com.
Touchdown! Helmets and Heels Tuesday
Is served by
Morgan & Morgan.
Here's hoping for a Raise the Roof football season. And here's knowing Next Gen Roofing is up for any job. Game day or storm season, you need a team you can trust. And you know what? You don't need a glitzy roofing company. No shortcuts, no gimmicks, no nonsense. Solid roofs at competitive prices and a commitment to the First Coast community. Right now, save up to $300 on your next roof replacement. When you need a roof, you need Next Gen Roofing. Team with you, it's a win every time.
Hey guys, Taylor Doll here of Helmets and Heels. The Chick-fil-A Peppermint Chip Milkshake is a holiday tradition that's back for another season. Hand-spun the old-fashioned way, this festive peppermint-flavored milkshake is made with Chick-fil-A ice cream dessert and features chips of crunchy peppermint bark. It's minty, merry, and topped with whipped cream and cherry when served in stores. Order in the Chick-fil-A app today.
We love talking sports on 1010XL, and I-9 Sports loves giving kids the perfect way to grow up playing the game. Spring and summer registration going on right now. Log on to i9sports.com to see all they've got to offer for kids ages 3 and up. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount. Year-round sports all across the First Coast. St. John's, Duval, and Clay. Sign up now for spring and summer. Great new locations added like Tocoy Creek High School and Westside Middle. Get your kids in the game with I-9 Sports. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount at i9sports.com.
If you have cane fever, you'll get your weekly dose of Miami football on the Hurricane Report.
I'm JJ LaSelva. This season, I'll keep you close to Coral Gables with the Hurricane Report on 1010XL.
Proudly protected by Performance Painting.
The holiday season is the season of love. If you're getting engaged now or just looking for that unforgettable gift for the woman you love, Beards Diamonds is here for you. This Christmas, Beards is proud to showcase the world's premier designers in both bridal and fashion. Like Sylvie, personalized, meaningful designs that enhance your unique lifestyle and personality. Celebrate your love, elevate your look, and shine brightly with exquisite jewelry from Sylvie. Celebrating 30 years of design expertise in both bridal and fashion. Beards Diamonds is the town center's local jeweler. So at Beards, you never have to settle for corporate chain store quality. We've put together our best selection ever of exquisite jewelry for the holidays. From the newest designer styles to classic diamond studs and diamond bracelets, with your choice of natural or lab-grown diamonds. Whether your holiday budget is a few hundred or a few $100,000, the experts at Beards will help you find the jewelry that reflects your love. Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
This bowl season, upgrade your game plan with a visit to Burlock & Barrel, Duval's first distillery dedicated solely to whiskey, right in the Brooklyn Riverside neighborhood. Stop in to see how we turn local grains into small batch whiskey, earning awards at every competition. Book a tour, settle in for a tasting, or escape the scoreboard for a bit at our full whiskey bar. Whether your team's winning or character building, at least your whiskey can be solid. At Burlock & Barrel in Riverside or burlockandbarrel.com.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Guys, real quick, we're not apologizing for f***ing wins around here. How about our quarterback?
Trevor takes it, runs to the right, runs it into the end zone, touchdown. A 1-yard touchdown run by Trevor Lawrence.
The team's coming together. I feel like we have a lot of confidence, but we don't take our preparation for granted. You can't just show up and win games in this league. You got to prepare the right way, and you got to have that edge and that mindset come Sunday. And I think that's something our team does a really good job of, is playing with that chip on your shoulder and that edge and attacking people and getting after them. And I think that's something that's been huge for us.
Parker Washington, get up!
Parker Washington, open field, 50, 45, 40, 30, along the right sideline, cuts it back to the middle of the field, 20, 15, now back to the right side, to the 10-yard line. Parker Washington to the 10-yard line of the Denver Broncos.
I always, pride myself on, first of all, just making the catch, of course, but the yak after the catch, it matters, and that can change games, and it was exciting to make those plays today. And I just want to keep that rolling and just stay confident and keep having fun with it.
Darian Jones!
Fires downfield, and that ball's going to be picked off! The Jags intercepted. Darian Jones went up and got it.
And it's not even about like the team that we play. It was more like, you know what I'm saying, we know don't nobody really give us respect. And then we not out here trying to like prove nothing. We just doing what we do every day in practice. And you know what I'm saying? The results are showing.
The job's not even completely even close to being done. Ain't even close. Not even close. Okay, but that's one more, man. That's 11. That's 11. All right, but we just a small market team. Thanks for the play.
Dropping, looking, throws it out of the back for SETN. Tries to make him a miss, down to the 5. Dots for the goal line, touchdown! 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 Fumble, the ball's on the ground. The Jags jump on top of it. The Jags have it inside the 35-yard line of the Denver Broncos. Great work by the Jaguar defense.
Great team effort. Just thankful that, you know, a small market team like us can come into a place like Mile High and get it done.
They just go hop on the bandwagon right now. Everybody in this locker room on the Jaguars team, even upstairs, we know everybody probably gonna try to hop on this bandwagon now, but we don't want anybody. They can stay where they at. It's us. It's all about the Jags. Everybody but us. Excuse my language, mama and dad, grandmama, but everybody but us.
We've got a Victory Tuesday here on Helmets and Heels. Taylor Dahl's here, Hacker's here. Joining me today as Lauren and Tommy are on vacation. Yeah, you can feel the energy from everybody, from players to coaches right now in the city in general. And so it's just really fun to watch, Hacker. And I think that watching this game, I was still up in Chicago watching the game, and even the people sitting at the bar watching that, everybody in that bar was like, this is so cool to see the Jags winning like this. Trevor Lawrence is playing his butt off. So everybody is starting to notice now.
Well, and Trevor Lawrence, I mean, look, he's doing this without the number 2 overall pick in the draft, Travis Hunter. You almost forget about that Travis Hunter is a part of this team.
Yeah.
And Brian Thomas Jr., I mean, Pat Surtain did a pretty good job on him, obviously. But every week, it's either Brenton Strange or Travis Etienne, or Jacoby Myers, or Parker Washington. Heck, Tim Patrick had 5 for 80 and a touchdown a couple of weeks ago. Bashal Tootin has scored 6 touchdowns this year. There is almost an embarrassment of riches at the skill position. The offensive line, even though they gave up 5 sacks, which is a lot, I still thought they played reasonably well.
Especially late
In the second half. There are so many good things going on right now, and you said it in the first segment. Comes down to confidence, man. This is a confident football team with 2 games to go in the regular season.
Yeah, I want to play this. You had Mike Silver on last night, Hacker. Explain a little bit about that, because he was there. He was out at Mile High.
Yeah, Mike Silver from The Athletic has covered the NFL for years. He's done a lot of behind-the-scenes reporting with the Jaguars. On draft night, he was at the Miller Electric Center when the whole Travis Hunter situation was going down. It was a great story. And he's gotten a lot of access from Baselli and Gladstone and Cohen. Same thing in Denver. The morning of the game, after the game, Mike Silver of The Athletic was with James Gladstone and Tony Baselli and Liam Cohen. I had the opportunity to talk to him, and I had that on Hacker After Dark last night, and I think people here for the Helmets and Heels audience will enjoy this conversation. Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. Jaguars Colts Sunday 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear it right here on your home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. 1010XL. Jaguars now 11-4 on the year, winners of 6 in a row after Sunday's big win out at Mile High against the Denver Broncos. Let's talk to a man that had inside access all week with the Jaguars and has done a terrific job covering Jacksonville, going back for years, including draft night here back in April. Mike Silver of The Athletic, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Mike, how we doing, man?
Great, Ryan. How are you?
Hey, Mike, we're good. I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. Huge win for the Jaguars yesterday in Denver. And I know you had access to Liam Cohen and James Gladstone and kind of the inner workings leading up to that game. First and foremost, tell Jaguar fans about the story you put together on The Athletic.
Well, it starts with a very, very brisk morning walk on game day morning, 7 a.m., and I got to join Tony Baselli, James Gladstone, and his wife Julie, and senior assistant to the GM, Brian Zanders, who was the ringleader. And they were saying it was 27, and I felt it. I'm a Californian, so like you Floridians, I'm not super comfortable, but no, it was really cool just to catch up with them and then with Liam afterwards. It was a big day. Obviously, The Jags were still in decent position to make the playoffs had they not won that game. But, this was a big moment. I think to outsiders, you look at the Jags this year and they've kind of snuck up on people and you go, well, they don't really have a signature win. They did beat the Texans. They beat the Niners on the road. But this is undeniable. They are very, very much in the mix. And I don't think people have really grasped the fact that they could even get the number one seed in the AFC. So it's a year where it's wide open, and the Jags have very much injected themselves into the conversation, which is pretty cool.
Mike, from a national perception, you're always one of the guys, or have been so for years, that has given the Jaguars a fair shake, in my opinion. Certainly that's not the case with some of your colleagues. And Liam Cohen has kind of dove into that a little bit, the whole small market thing that Sean Payton said last week, the disrespect that Cohen's talked up in the media. And from a Jaguar fan base point of view, it's going back to the days of basically Coughlin to find a coach that I thought the Jaguar fan base related to maybe as much as they now relate to Liam Cohen. He is saying all the things that Jaguar fans have been thinking for years. And boy, I'll tell you, Mike, he can pretty much do no wrong right now in the fan base's eyes.
Well, I think it's important for people to understand this is not like holy war stuff. Even Liam talking to him afterwards, he's like, look, I'd love to manufacture this stuff, but it's getting handed to me because it's real. But it's not like there's this, conspiracy going around where people in the media or fans out there are like, man, we don't want to give the Jags any credit. It's just, some of it makes sense. They're coming off a really bad year. And I think there's been some skepticism, too, about the Bears and the Patriots and the Colts earlier, teams that have come up this year out of nowhere, because the Jags do tend to get ignored more than other teams based on market, et cetera. That gets accentuated. But, listen, we're all wrong. I asked Liam if I made the tape, and I didn't, he aired a tape on Saturday night to the team of some of the media members kind of poo-pooing the Jags. I asked him if I was on it. I didn't think I would be because I've been pretty high on the Jags this year. But, I also had a tweet a few days ago talking about Ashton Jonty and how he wasn't a big-time talent. It was a huge disappointment. And I think every Raider fan on Twitter has tried to shove that down my throat after he had a big game yesterday. So we don't know everything. We give our opinions sometimes. But, listen, I was there at that Raider game, which they pulled out in early November. Travis Hunter had just gotten hurt. The receiving game was really struggling, especially Brian Thomas Jr. They went and got Jacoby Myers after playing against him in that trade. That changed a lot of things. And Trevor Lawrence, these last, during the 6-game winning streak, has completely elevated his game. And all of a sudden, you're now looking at a team that is going up against the best teams in the league and faring pretty well.
Mike Silver of The Athletic. Mike, you mentioned Trevor Lawrence. Look, generational was probably an unfair label to give anybody. Certainly, he got drafted into a terrible situation with Urban Meyer here, and the first year and a half of Doug Peterson was good, but then the injuries accumulated, and things just had not gone Trevor's way. And you bring in Liam Cohen, and the hope here was that he could do for Trevor what he did for Baker Mayfield in Tampa. Well, it might be that and then some, Mike, because I don't know in the last month, outside of probably Stafford in L.A., if there's been a better quarterback in the NFL not named Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, it's really cool, and I don't want to get too high after this recent stretch because I think people had a tendency to get pretty low before it, right? I think a couple months ago there were a lot of people legitimately questioning whether Trevor Lawrence had leveled off and was ever going to be, the type of talent that they projected when they took him first overall and then paid him. And now I think people are swinging the other way. But, you mentioned Liam Cohen's offense. This is a complicated offense, and it usually it takes a while to really start to master it. We saw Matt Ryan with Kyle Shanahan, which this is obviously an offshoot of that, at least philosophy. And Matt Ryan in year 2 in Atlanta is when it blew up and they went to the Super Bowl and he won MVP. So I think in year 1, you're always saying, well, it's an adjustment period. But to see him click in at this early stage is a really, really good sign. And you can just tell he's more comfortable out there. And again, I think the Jacoby Myers move really, really has a lot to do with that. He's got a guy that can go across the middle, a guy who's very, very dependable on his route running and catching the ball, which has been, as you know, an issue for the Jags earlier this season. And, it's kind of freed up Brian Thomas, Parker Washington, Bretton Strange to do other things without having to, be asked to do some of that stuff over the middle that they're maybe not as comfortable with. So great trade by James Gladstone. He's obviously showed that he's willing to go after it. You mentioned Liam and his bravado. And I think really, to me, it all starts with Tony Baselli because, I had the opportunity to cover those early Jags teams. And you talk about teams that didn't get respect nationally, and I was guilty of this too. I'm like, there's no way that an expansion team is going to the AFC Championship game in year 2, and then, are going into Denver and beating the top-seeded John Elway, Mike Shanahan Broncos. And, their attitude back then was very much like, why not us? We're not here to just be mascots. We're going to go after it and, try to do something that people don't think we can. Obviously, 3 years later, they were hosting the AFC Championship game. Tony Baselli was obviously front and center. And I know the first time I talked to him when he came back and took that job after last season, I think within the first 3 minutes, he goes, hey, we're not doing the same old Jags thing. We're changing that. We're going to, and I heard that old fire, that All-American from USC Hall of Fame, tackle who shut down Bruce Smith. And I think it's permeated throughout the building, certainly through James and Liam, and now you're seeing it through Trevor and the other players.
Final moments, Mike Silver of The Athletic. Mike, as we wrap up the AFC playoff picture, it's good the Jaguars keep winning because everybody else in the AFC keeps winning. I mean, it's wild. Buffalo and the Chargers and the Texans and the Patriots and Jacksonville, and we know how good Denver is outside of yesterday. What is your thought on the hierarchy of the AFC as the playoffs approach?
It's interesting. For so long in the AFC, it's been Mahomes, and can any of these other great quarterbacks beat them in a given year? Burrow did once, Lamar, Josh Allen, and it's such a logjam. And this year, obviously, Patrick is down. The Chiefs are out. Lamar looks like he's going to be out next, and it just feels wide open. The Bills don't look like, as elite as they've been in recent years to me, but when Josh elevates and goes crazy, they still, are a force to be reckoned with. I think that's going to have to be their formula the rest of the way, but, I wouldn't put it past him. And then weirdly, there's one team that you didn't mention there, and I think we need to start paying attention to this too. Aaron Rodgers is looking a little better, and yeah, he's 42. Yeah, there are times where he has looked at this season, but I have seen the man do things in big games in the postseason that are, beyond the realm of ruthless, I would say. He steals souls in the playoffs. I've seen him do it so many times. Doesn't win every playoff game, obviously. It's only won one Super Bowl, but I would worry about the Pittsburgh Steelers getting their sea legs under them, TJ Watt coming back, and Aaron's starting to crank it up too.
Mike Silver of The Athletic. Mike, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville about the piece you wrote this morning and the easiest way for them to find it.
I think it's on our app. It's at theathletic.com. It's all over my social media. If I haven't blocked you in the past, hopefully we're still cool. I think you guys will really like it, and I'm really hoping. You mentioned I did those cool stories from the draft room in April, and I'm really hoping I get to do more Jags in these coming weeks, and maybe even a home playoff game in Jacksonville. It's going to remind me of years past. I'll never forget the atmosphere for that 99 AFC Championship game against the Titans. So maybe I'll be out your way soon.
I read it this morning on The Athletic. It was a terrific piece by Mike Silver, and Jaguar fans, go check it out at theathletic.com. Mike, again, know you're busy. Thank you. Happy holidays, and we'll talk soon, pal.
Right back at you. Thanks, Ryan.
Shout out to Mike Silver, always good stuff. We were chatting a little bit too. Hacker definitely feels like he roots for the Jags. He likes the Jags. He likes the organization. He likes the city from what we've seen in these last couple years, and he definitely likes James Gladstone and what they've started, and Liam Cohen and what they've started doing.
Yeah, it's not all national folks. Yeah. Mike Silver, Nick Wright's another one. I'm a big fan of Nick Wright.
Trevor wig today.
Yeah, the prince that was promised. I love Nick Wright. Not so much some of the other guys on that show, yeah. But there are some national folks that have given the Jaguars their flowers. But again, this is what the Jaguars are using. Mm-hmm. Every 10, 15 years, it seems like this is a rallying cry for a team. I'll never forget the Indianapolis Colts with Tony Siragusa and Jim Harbaugh was their quarterback. They made it all the way to the AFC Championship game and darn near beat Searcy Steelers. Yeah. They had a Hail Mary into the end zone, but they went into Kansas City and won. Mm-hmm. And their thing was, nobody wants us here. Yeah. Nobody wants Indianapolis in the Super Bowl. People hate us. And stuff like that works. Yeah, and, Liam Cohen is diving headfirst into that, and you see what's happening.
Big time. We have Mark Ross on the other side, NFL Network analyst, so we'll get to some more Jags and some NFL in general because a lot of cool storylines. That's coming up next right here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Backed by Green Law Group.
For the insured.
Fighting for you.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit hollispools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Covered by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
The best golfing weather of the year is upon us, and Hidden Hills Golf Club welcomes you to play your next round at our beautiful course. We promise you'll enjoy the dramatic elevation changes and our unique Arnold Palmer design. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
If Santa had a pit crew, it'd look a lot like Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Fast, friendly, and they get the job done in 15 minutes while you stay in your car. No appointment needed. Just pull up and let their technicians handle the rest. With convenient locations, a 4.7-star national rating, and ranked #1 Quick Lube by Forbes, Valvoline delivers service even Santa would trust. Valvoline Instant Oil Change, helping Jacksonville reduce the stress of holiday travel.
Your home deserves more than just another coat of paint. It deserves quality that lasts. At First Coast Paint, you'll find premium Benjamin Moore products, trusted advice, and the local experts who help you get it right the first time. Whether it's your living room, your porch, or your whole house, First Coast Paint brings your paint project to life. Stores in St. John's and St. Augustine. One name Jacksonville Trucks. Mention 1010XL for 10% off. First Coast Paint. Simply superior paint.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels on a Victory Tuesday. Hacker here joining me as Lauren and Tommy Mack are on vacation. And now we're going to chat with Mark Ross. He's an NFL Network analyst. So, Mark, thanks for hopping on with us and taking time out of your day.
Of course, my pleasure.
Let's chat a little bit. There's a lot of crazy things. I want to get into the Jags specifically, but just the oddness of this NFL season. No Mahomes or Burrow in the postseason. It looks like Lamar and Ravens are right on the cusp of also not making it. You have the Panthers, the first in the NFC South. You have new coaches and a Liam Cohen, a Ben Johnson, of Vrabel, first in their divisions as first-year coaches. So a lot of wild things happening. What has been some of your favorite storylines so far through this first, I guess, almost majority of the season now?
Yeah, I mean, that's why, every year they talk about, well, there's going to be 4 new playoff teams, and coming into it, you think, well, there's no way one of the 4 new ones will not have as you mentioned, the Chiefs, the Ravens, even the Bengals, and yep, well, here we are. And, that's the beauty of the NFL and parity, and there's always some new team, there's an emerging team, and everyone, of course, going into training camp has their high-end scenario of what they think will happen, but to actually see it play out and those teams. And, I was at Jacksonville during camp covering them, and just the stuff they talked about was like, yeah, well, actually what Liam Cohen talked about and Trevor Lawrence is coming to fruition. So, I mean, you go endless storylines, the Seahawks and what they've done, really just great coaching jobs with Liam, with Ben Johnson in Chicago, with Mike McDaniel out there in Seattle. Even Canales in Carolina. So many. I can't list 2. I just keep going on all day about the good storyline.
Mark Ross of the NFL Network with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Mark, you mentioned Liam Cohen, a guy that inherited a team that was 5-18 in the 23 games prior to his arrival. In 1 year, he has them 11-4 and in the conversation to be the best team in the AFC entering the playoffs. Just speak to the job that he's done here in this first year in Jacksonville.
Well, just incredible, really, and just the way that the improvement, not just from last year, but just throughout the year that you've seen with Jacksonville. Early on it was a little rocky, and then all of a sudden they hit their stride after that Texans game. It's like, we're the best team in football, and that's a testament to the stability that he put in there, the confidence that he put into the team, but more importantly, the confidence that he put into Trevor Lawrence, the playmaking that has emerged. So, great head coaches are rare. And it seems as of right now, despite all that is going on in Jacksonville over the past X amount of years, that you got the right guy.
Yeah, Mark, when you talk about Trevor Lawrence, that's been one of the biggest topics. The last 5-6 weeks in general, you've seen him grow in a lot of ways. A big part of that is a Jacoby Myers coming to Jacksonville, Brenton Strange getting healthy. But in his last 4 games, he's 76 for 125, 1,194 yards, 14 touchdowns, no interceptions, and they're 4-0 during that period of time. What have you seen just get better with Trevor to lead him to how he's looking right now?
The consistency and the aggressiveness. And when we talked to Liam Cohen during camp, when I was there, we were covering him, he talked about he wanted Trevor to be more aggressive. And, that was something that I've seen this year about, the aggression of being decisive with the playmaking. Like, okay, nothing's there. Let me just take off and run. Let me just go get it. Or, let me not force a bad throw. So he's got a lot smarter with what he's done with the football as well. And then the consistency. Of course, in the past, Trevor's been up and down, game to game, in games, just up and down. And he's just been so much more consistent now. And that really speaks to, I think, the confidence that Liam Cohen has put in him and the team to say, okay, I'm unlocking all these talents that I have. And now the mental part of it is there with the confidence to make plays and be consistent, not turn the ball over, and really raise the level of the whole entire team.
A couple more from Mark Ross of the NFL Network. It's a good thing, Mark, the Jaguars keep winning because everybody in the AFC keeps winning. I mean, it's nuts. Houston, Buffalo, the Chargers, the Patriots, Denver up until Sunday. Pittsburgh hasn't lost in a while. The hierarchy in the AFC is wild. Obviously, we have to determine some division champions. We have to determine some seeding. We know a majority of the playoff teams. How would you assess the playoff picture in the AFC 2 weeks remaining in the regular season?
Wide open. And in years past, I don't remember a year, a conference that has been this wide open. And, namely because for so many years it was the Patriots and then the Chiefs that took over. And it's like, okay, who's playing for second? And, there's some little iffy teams sneaking into the wild card or even winning conferences. And for this year, as you just mentioned, everybody's playing well. They're up and down. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, but for the most part, they're winning and rolling. So when I look at this whole landscape of 6 teams that legitimately have a chance to say we're the best team and we can win all of this. Of course, things have to break right, and you got to get the bounces. But overall, I mean, when you look at Denver, New England, Jacksonville, even the Chargers, I don't think you mentioned the Chargers and what they're doing. Buffalo, Houston now is coming on strong. I think any of those teams can make a run and go win it. And that's just going to be super fun once the playoff seeding finally gets set. It really doesn't matter, I don't think, because any of those teams can go anywhere and win, and anyone can hold home field. So it's going to be amazing to see.
Mark, before we let you go, I do want to chat about the defense in Jacksonville just a little bit, because there were some issues early on when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. Coach Campanile obviously kind of took things. He said he simplified some things, and it looks like it's changed a lot. The pass rush has gotten better. They've been able to stop the run all year. That's part of it, but they're continuing to get takeaways. Everything you need to do defensively to win football games, they've been able to do it in this final stretch. What have you seen the biggest change from that first half of the season to the after the bye of what's working for them?
Well, I think it's all, when you talk about complimentary football, all the coaches say that. I actually saw Liam's post-game press conference, post-game locker room speech against Denver. We talked about that, and really it's the testament to that. When your offense is rolling like their offense has been rolling, then your defense can be more aggressive. Your defense, the offense gets the lead. All right, we can go get the quarterback now. We can take more chances, with turnovers and being more aggressive on our end. When you're going into the game, okay, our offense is going to put up 30. So now we're ahead, and it makes it that much easier for the defense to go get after the quarterback, to pin their ears back and just go get it. So I think it really has been, the defense should get their due, and they've made huge plays throughout the year. Josh Hines-Allen, what he's done and gotten better, and Devin Lloyd, I think both of those guys might have got snubbed for the Pro Bowl situation, but what they've done and how they've played, I think it really is complementary to, okay, our offense has just been getting leads and crushing people. Now we can just go close games when we need to.
Mark Ross of the NFL Network. We agree with you on those snubs. We were talking about that earlier in the show a little bit, but we appreciate your time. Thanks for hopping on with us, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday.
You as well, anytime.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Mark, appreciate it. And he brought up an interesting point as you and I were talking, Taylor. I would have no idea how to even look this up, but in the history of the NFL, off the top of your head, has there been an 11-4 team that only the long snapper was a Pro Bowler? That's insane, right?
It doesn't seem right.
No.
It does not seem right. And
Lack of respect, man.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of names that here in Jacksonville we would list, but even that, if you have somebody like a Mark Ross saying that there's definitely some snubs on this team, then there is. And I think that my point earlier, too, with the Joe Alt thing was a lot of people's argument was, okay, well, they didn't start playing like this until the last 5-6 weeks, but you're letting someone who only played 6 weeks into the Pro Bowl, so that doesn't matter anymore. You play your best players that are playing right now, I think, should be in the Pro Bowl.
I agree. And look, whatever they need to use is motivation, and they're going to have to use something because they're getting a little more love. Pro Football Talk just put out their power rankings, and look, Florio is not a big fan of Jacksonville. He was wronged here somehow, some way, in another life, which I don't understand because Dempsey was like the first guy that ever had him on sports radio back when he just started at PFT. So he should have a special place in his heart for Jacksonville, but he doesn't. He has the Jaguars number 2.
Yeah.
In his
Did you see
NFL
his
power
caption on
rankings.
that?
Yeah, the hashtag small market. Yeah. Hey, that is going to be embraced here.
Oh, yeah.
And other people seem to like that as well. So hey, I like it a lot.
I do too. So thanks to Mark Ross of the NFL Network. And then I have a tangent on the other side. So we'll get to that. It may be about some specific player hitting a fan. So we'll get to that on the other side right here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels, provided by Green Law Group. The Jags crushed the Colts at the bank. Now it's time to finish with a flourish. It's division domination in Indy. Jaguars, Colts, Sunday at 1. On the home of the Jaguars. 1010XL.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional, and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan.
It's December. You need cash. You also need a new Kia Fast. At Kia on Atlantic, you can get both because it's our year-end cash bash. And during the Kia Season of New Tradition sales event, make no payments for up to 6 months. Or take advantage of 0% APR. Hurry and get to the year-end cash bash. Online at KiaOnAtlantic.com. Kia on Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection. For complete details, call 904-250-0587.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 23rd, 1972, the Pittsburgh Steelers' Franco Harris makes the famous Immaculate Reception in the AFC Divisional Playoff game against the Oakland Raiders.
This bowl season, upgrade your game plan with a visit to Burlock & Barrel, Duval's first distillery dedicated solely to whiskey, right in the Brooklyn Riverside neighborhood. Stop in to see how we turn local grains into small batch whiskey, earning awards at every competition. Book a tour, settle in for a tasting, or escape the scoreboard for a bit at our full whiskey bar. Whether your team's winning or character building, at least your whiskey can be solid. At Burlock & Barrel in Riverside or burlockandbarrel.com.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels. Taylor Dahl here, Hacker here, RJ Saunders here. Lauren and Tommy Mack are both on vacation enjoying their holiday season. And I have some interesting notes. I want to get to a lot of some NFL stuff coming up in the next hour. But right here, let's hit Taylor's Tangent.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
So we had a DK Metcalf incident over the weekend, and where he hit a Lions fan. That game, by the way, Hacker, was insane. The end of that game, the call that ended up ending that game, it was the weirdest explanation because they're like, well, it was offensive pass interference. It was a touchdown, but it was an OPI, but time ran out, so game's over. And like the fans were like, what just happened?
Yeah, because I mean, obviously we're all watching Jaguars Broncos, so I go back and I watch it, and the referees handled that horribly because they made the Detroit crowd think that they won the game. Yeah, it was a touchdown, but pass interference on the offense, and the place is going bonkers, so nobody hears what the ref is saying. They're going to need to teach the refs in a situation like that. That needs to be handled a little better.
Yeah, and it was the same, honestly. The place where I was watching the game, they had the sound on for that one. Obviously, I'm in Chicago, so they cared more about the Lions losing because that clinched the playoffs for the Bears. But so the sound was on in that one, and it was a wild sequence of events. Anyways, Jared Goff and the Lions get back-to-back very close in that same drive, offensive pass interferences, and then, it ends that way. But the bar that I was at, there were Lions fans, so they started going nuts, and we're all trying to hear the refs what they're saying because I was like, he's not motioning touchdown. I mean, like he motions touchdown, but he like starts doing other hand motion. I'm like, something's weird.
When
the
CBS has
changing.
CBS has the score, and that's not changing. It was the whole thing was bizarre.
It was wild. But in that game, if you have not seen the clip, it's all over the place at this point in time. But DK Metcalf gets into it with a fan. You see the fan kind of leaning over, definitely running their mouth. DK Metcalf kind of pushes, slaps, kind of face palms the fan. Since then, a lot of interesting things have come out of this. Number one, DK Metcalf gets suspended for a couple games. Not ideal, obviously, for them. But when you talk about the money he may lose, too, I read something that he had something in his contract to where if he gets suspended for a game, there's a possibility that his guaranteed money, the $45 million, he doesn't have to get, depending on certain circumstances that happened for the rest of the season. So that's one side. There's another video that was released today. I've seen a couple of them. One had to where they were trying to see if you could hear what the fan was saying because people were like, well, he must have said something to make DK do this. Granted, don't hit a fan. Like, probably just try and keep your cool as much as possible. Nobody knows really what he was saying. But, Hager, I saw a video today where when that fan, after it happened, he is walking back up and you can hear him say that, like, mission accomplished, or like the point of it, that was my point of doing that. So the fan clearly went down there to try and get DK to react to him. And at that point in time, screw the fan for acting like that. This is not what football's about. We're here to have a good time. Leave the heckling is one thing. You can do that. You must have done something at a different level to get DK to act in that way. But also, DK, you have to be a little smarter in this situation. So I think there's wrongs on both sides, but that fan shouldn't be allowed back in an NFL stadium.
No, I think the fan was in the wrong too, and you probably have an idea what was said, and I'm sure it wasn't very good. And it's got to be tough for DK Metcalf, but he's also a professional athlete. And there is a reason that the athletes stay on the sideline and the fans are a certain, amount of feet away. Yeah. DK Metcalf did not have to walk over there. Yes. He chose to walk over there, and he chose to put his hands on a fan. He could have very easily gotten security or team security or somebody to go address the situation. And I know it's tough. It's the heat of the moment. I can only imagine what that fan was saying, but you've got to be smarter in that situation, have security deal with that. And as a result of DK doing what he did, it's a 2-game suspension. He's going to be out a ton of money. I don't think it'll affect the Steelers because Baltimore lost on Sunday. But nevertheless, Pittsburgh has to play their final 2 games without arguably their best offensive player. And if they were to lose these 2, and if Baltimore were to win the last 2 and to get in because Metcalf is out, yikes. He'd be public enemy number 1 in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah, including by Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers would hate him. But, so the fan said that was the goal, folks, as when he was walking away from that situation. But, I agree. And I think that going back to there was a situation this baseball season where one of the players hit a fan, and it was this big thing. Come to find out, the player's parent or like mom or something had just passed away, and the fan was heckling them, talking about like your mom deserved to die or something. So it's like things like that where you sometimes understand understand a reaction because it'd be hard not to react. But I do think in this circumstance, get somebody say, listen to what this guy's saying, get him out of here, or I'm going to hit him, get him out of here. But yeah, both sides to me are in the wrong. But as a fan, stop. That's not where we're here. You can heckle, you can make comments. That's where there's the fun in it of that. But whatever you said in this situation, in certain situations, I think there's boundaries to that, and you've got to be better and smarter as a fan in general. This is supposed to be a fun sport and fun time, and attending a game is supposed to be a good time for people.
I guess ironic that it's in Detroit, where 2 decades ago you had the Malice and the Palace. Those Detroit sports fans need to get some manners.
Definitely. And I have some lunch, though, to give away, Hacker. So let's give away free lunch to Chick-fil-A. Let's say caller number 3, give us a call at 641-1010, and you get free lunch to Chick-fil-A. Let's get to some more football on the other side, maybe some college football coming up here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Brought for you by Green Law Group on 1010XL. What could Jacksonville do better? Find out from one of our best ever as David Garrard joins Mike and Fat Tony on Jaguars Today. Monday from 10 to noon. Restored by Resto Pros of Northeast Florida on 1010XL.
This football season, Hurricane Grill and Wings is your game day getaway. Catch every play with the perfect drink in hand. Handcrafted cocktails like the Millionaire Margarita, Spicy Guavarita, Old Fashioned, or the Red Bullerita. Beer more your style to watch the games? Enjoy an ice cold Bud Light. Game day cocktails and Bud Light specials are here all season long at Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find a restaurant near you at hurricanewings.com.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Backed by
Morgan & Morgan.
The new Ackerman Cancer Center is now open at World Golf Village, providing state-of-the-art screenings and diagnostic exams with no referral required. Same-day appointments are available. Call today or visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
1010XL is making spirits bright with our holiday gift guide, stuffed with great gift ideas from local businesses like Chicken Salad Chick, Metro Diner, and Gotham City Lemon. Start shopping and saving at 1010XL.com.
This is Mark Nato. My sons and I have seen the doctors and PAs at Southeast Ortho for everything from lumbar spine stress to elbow tendonitis. Southeast has always been there, been truthful, and always been on point. Everything they say happens. We can't thank them enough for what they've done and the great care that they have taken of our sons.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
'Tis the season for savings at Green Acres Sporting Goods. Take advantage of the Second Amendment sales tax holiday now through December 31st. Firearms, ammo, and accessories, all tax-free. Secure your holiday gifts with a Browning gun safe, and they'll deliver it right to your door. Come test shoot the newest bows by Hoyt and Matthews at Green Acres Sporting Goods at the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard.
You like winning? This is former Jaguar linebacker Tom McManus, and I'm excited to introduce you to J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling of Greater Jacksonville. If you're a property manager, contractor, builder, realtor, or homeowner, get that feeling of success with less stress. I've used them. My friends have used them. So get your free junk removal and hauling estimate today. Now, I call that a win. Veteran-owned and operated J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. Call 506-1256. We haul it all.
Some auto shops love giving your wallet a flush every time you visit. Not AA Automotive. They fix only what needs fixing, nothing more. Honest, fast, and fair. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street. Boring name, awesome service, and no wallet flush. I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Following the Jaguars' dominant 34-20 win over the Denver Broncos Sunday, the number 1 overall seed in the AFC is still in reach. For that to happen, the Jaguars must win out, and they'll need some help from the Broncos to lose one of their final 2 games, and will also need the Patriots to lose one of their final 2 games. They're currently the number 3 seed in the AFC. It's 78 degrees at 3:04. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
On Helmets and Heels. Hackers here, Taylor Dahl is here, RJ Saunders is here. Now it's time to talk a little bit of college football. We're joined now by Spencer Tillman, NFL and College Football Network analyst. So Spencer, thanks for hopping on with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Also, former running back for both the Oilers, the Niners, and the Sooners. So I feel like maybe this weekend wasn't the most fun for you on the Oklahoma side of things. But I want to start with the Florida team when we're talking about the Miami Hurricanes and a little bit about that. Stopping the run and Mark Fletcher's 172 yards seemed like the key to the win over the weekend for them against the Aggies. But thoughts on that? Can they continue that this weekend against Ohio State?
Well, I think Carson Beck has to, play at a high level. He's an efficient quarterback. I really like everything about his game. And, when you play a defense that's sophisticated, I know that Ohio State has lost Jim Knowles, but I think what they do on the defensive side of the ball is very unforgiving. You cannot make mistakes. And I think the fact that Carson is a kind of a field general of sorts, I don't think that's an embarrassment or a pejorative phrase at all. He makes quick reads. They've been kind of keeping him to quarter field, half field reads, which limits the ability and exposure on the defensive side. So I think that's going to bode well with him. I think ultimately it's how do you keep Ohio State's offense off the field? It's going to be a tough order. They've got elite athletes at every position, wide receiver, every position. Obviously, with Julian Sayin, the quarterback, he's elite. So I think that's really the key. If the Miami defense can show up again, like they did in their first iteration of this playoff format, I think they're going to be just fine. It's going to be a great game either way.
Spencer, it's interesting. And look, I love everything about the 12-team playoff, so I'm certainly not complaining about this. But you got 4 pretty good teams, Miami, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Oregon, that all got to play a game. And you got the 4 teams with byes that it'll be 3.5 or even 4 weeks in between their final games. Are any of these 4 teams that had the byes, are they going to have issues with such a long layoff playing against these quality opponents?
I think it's a valid point. Maybe a high-level kind of take on this, and then we'll dive into that real quick. And I don't really want to pontificate on it. I just think that, my mom was a missionary. She has to quote scripture all the time. And I remember this one thing she used to say all the time, and it was from this verse where it said, "And in that day, Israel had no king, and everyone did what was right in their own mind." We're in this screwed up mess situation right now because we've got a lot of individual islands of what they think is individual excellence in their programs, and the hubris is just toxic. It's to the point where they can get nothing done. And that's one of the reasons why they're dealing with a $2.7 billion, settlement that they've had to deal with. And so they would much rather sit in their hubris than find a solution. I know that the NCAA is exonerated. They're out of the mix right now, and this is among the heavy hitters now. You're talking about the Tony Petittis, the Greg Sankeys. They're the ones who are running football right now. They've got to find a way to herd these cats, a.k.a. chancellors, presidents, ADs, and find a solution. They've got to come together without it being collusion and find a solution that's going to work on the field. So that's a high-level take on that. I think, yeah, you make a valid point. I think the layoff could impede you. If you're on a hot streak and you're ending well the regular season, and then you have to sit for a while with these young kids, I think that's problematic. I think you want to keep traction and keep things going. That's the low-level look as far as I'm concerned. If I were a coach, I would be concerned about the layoff.
Spencer, when you're talking about the teams remaining in the college football playoff, what quarterback to you feels like you wouldn't want to face them if you were an opposing defense?
Right now, I mean, Sayan is the guy that I wouldn't want to face because he's steeped in the offensive scheme that they have. You know, they've had different coordinators. Obviously, Chip Kelly is gone now. But the bottom line is this. This is Ryan Day's system. He knows it. He's been steeped in it. And any quarterback on any team in this field, the ones that are really executing at a high level are the ones that have a significant familiarity with the scheme. And if you have a familiarity with the scheme, it becomes about mitigating risk. Look at all the teams with great defenses, or at least higher level defenses, that are progressing right now. That old axiom, guys, it's true. Defense wins championships. And on another level, I think there's only 6 times in the history of the Super Bowl has the lower-rated defensive team actually won. And we've had 50-plus Super Bowls. So what does that tell you? It's a cliche to a certain degree, but there's a lot of substance and there's a lot of truth to it as well. So look for the teams who are playing great defense, and then how that relates to your question, who will be able to affect the quarterback most? And if I'm looking at it right now, I would find a way to get Sayan. If you can get to him, I think you're going to have a tremendous leg up on anybody else in that field. And we can talk about Dante Moore. We can talk about your Heisman Trophy winner. Can't ignore that. He's a great, efficient player, but I think that success can be attributed to their whole team, and Kirk Cignetti as a leader. He is outstanding.
Spencer Tillman with us here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. Obviously, most people know Spencer from his great college football work. But, Spencer, in our neck of the woods, we want to talk a little AFC South with you as well. The Texans, you do a lot of work out there with them in the Houston area. Obviously, the Jaguars just clinched a playoff spot last night. They're both still battling for the AFC South. And I go back to that fourth quarter in Houston, a game the Texans pulled out. It was the biggest fourth quarter collapse in Jaguar history. And, Spencer, since that game, neither team has lost. The Texans have rattled off 7 in a row. The Jaguars have rattled off 6 in a row. And what a finish in the AFC South this should be over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And I think it's going to come down to what we just talked about on the collegiate level. Who can sustain high-level quarterback play? You know, Trevor didn't have a particularly good game. He had made that it ended poorly with the Texans in that last iteration that they had. But I think ultimately since that time, he's been much, much, much better. And I think the Texans even got a taste of that when they dealt with the Raiders this past week. It's been, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago? I can't remember how long now. But I think you guys were like 3 points away. The Raiders, Jacksonville was in that particular game. You had to win that in overtime, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we had to stop a 2-point conversion.
Yeah. So, you see, that tells you something about the league. I mean, what the late great Pete Rozelle said all those years ago, he coined that phrase, any given Sunday. That game was a personification of it. And I kept telling, D'Amico Ryans and a couple of other people, I said, listen, guys, Jacksonville is for real right now. They're on a similar trek that you guys are on as well. Do not discount the Raiders. I mean, they had taken them to overtime, as you pointed out. And I think Trevor Lawrence's success has been increased because of his efficiency at the quarterback position as well. He needed to step up, and boy, has he ever. And I haven't been tracking you guys as closely. I've been focused on the Texans more, but I'm thinking ETN is going to be a big asset as well. If you guys can get consistent receiver play and get those 3 positions, quarterback, receiver, and running back, at those staples that you need in this particular scheme, it's going to be tough to beat. It's going to come down to a showdown at the end of the year.
Spencer Tillman, NFL and College Football Network analyst and former running back for the Oilers, Niners, and Sooners, joining us talking some NFL and college football. Spencer, when you're talking about the Houston Texans and 7 straight wins for them since that upset against the Jags and the comeback win, what have you seen change so much? Because it really just felt early on. The defense has been good all season long, but it felt early on the offense just felt kind of clunky, like it was missing something. The Jags added Jacoby Myers, and it kind of felt like it sparked things. What was it in Houston that you feel has sparked things this last 7 weeks?
Well, great question. I think it was quarterback play improve. And I think also, let's face it, guys, we're humans. Sometimes a nudge helps us along the way. Davis Mills comes in. He runs off 3 straight as the backup. and he did it impressively. With him, you're going to win with structure and function. With your franchise quarterback, you're going to get the structure, but you're going to get the ability to win in off-schedule scenarios as well. When the play breaks down, what can he bring? And certainly that has been the difference, right? And so the defense is always going to be elite. They're number one in the league in so many different categories. Your edge rushers are outstanding. That's going to be great. And I think the integrity of the interior line has helped, Will Anderson on the outside and D'Amico Hunter on the outside as well. So you got all of those guys that are rushing with effectiveness for Houston, but it's that interior that's really helped them because they rush with integrity. In other words, if you were to look at them, it looks like it's a fence there all the time. And they're like an organism that moves, and there are never any voids throughout the front. And when you've got the fronts and the coverages tied in together, it's really tough to beat them with Stingley on the back end, Petrie playing at a high level, Lassiter, Bullock, all of those guys in the back end. I think they are the best. It reminds me of the Jags back end that they had about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Man, they had an unbelievable back end, and I think the Texans are right there with them back in the day.
Spencer, as we begin to wrap up, fascinating scenario for the Texans on Saturday night. They're still technically not in, although they would have to lose out, and I think other things would even need to happen for the Texans to not get in. But they're playing a Charger team in L.A. that all of a sudden controls their own destiny for the AFC West. Obviously, we're going to be very interested spectators here in Jacksonville because a Texan loss Saturday and a Jaguar win on Sunday would give the Jaguars the AFC South crown. What is your expectation for the Texans and the Chargers on Saturday night?
Well, here's the thing, and that's probably the most important question. I'll do this in 15 seconds. The Texans' close call with the Raiders this past week opened their eyes, and sometimes the best elixir for a team that's on a hot streak is to win ugly. And that's exactly what happened. There's a lot to look at that tape and to clean up. And the Texans and D'Amico Ryans know that chief among them.
Spencer, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. And again, thank you for your time today.
You bet, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Spencer. What a treat that was. I remember watching him and Tim Brando on all those college football Saturdays on CBS. Spencer Tillman does a terrific job.
Yes, and I'm probably not the funnest weekend when it comes to watching Oklahoma in that sense, but I feel like the college football season and how the trajectory, we talk about it a lot on Helmets and Heels, Hacker, the way that everything's kind of transformed in the new landscape. There's a lot of things they have to figure out coming up, or I just feel like it's going to get messier.
In college football, no, I totally agree, and I don't like the layoff, but it is what it is. Quickly, I thought it was interesting. He's talking about how high the expectations are in Houston. Mm-hmm. You know what they're talking about in sports radio in Boston right now? How the Patriots are the team to beat. Yeah. Sports radio in Buffalo, the Bills are the team to beat. Sports radio in L.A., for the ones that care, the Chargers are the team to beat. That's where the AFC is.
Even honestly, Hacker, the Denver's probably just like, okay, that was a bad game, but you still have the number one seed.
No, it's a good loss.
Yeah.
I always love that. And we're guilty of it here. I listened to Denver podcast yesterday. That's a good loss. Yeah. It's going to recenter them for the stretch run.
We needed that.
We needed that.
You won 11 straight. Yeah. You needed to come back, figure that you need to.
Never mind the Jaguars just went in there and beat the brakes off of you, but you needed that to get refocused. That was the narrative in Denver, Colorado yesterday.
That's hilarious. And like you said, we've said that before. Whatever you feel like your own motivation needs to be, you use that. And I'm sure they're using that out in Denver right now. But I think that we are taking that as, okay, everyone kept saying, you need to prove it. You need to prove it. There's been excuses for all of the wins since week one here in Jacksonville of, oh, that's a bad team, or that's a beat up team, or they didn't have their quarterback, or whatever the case may be. And now you win on the road at Mile High at the number one seed in the AFC. And there's really not much arguing you can do after that. I want to get a little bit more into some of the things around the NFL because I mentioned earlier, Hack, that there's a lot of crazy scenarios that have happened, a lot of weird storylines this NFL season. The college football season was a little weird, but I feel like maybe not the most exciting. This NFL season has been, from start to finish, one of the more crazy seasons that we've seen when it comes to teams that were supposed to be good not being good, teams that were supposed to suck, playing well. So I want to get into some of those things on the other side. That's coming up next here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Backed by Green Law Group on 1010XL.
Hey folks, it's Frank Frangie. Now, I've been telling you about my daughter Amber, and she's been telling you how much weight she's dropped with Awaken 180. It's hard to believe. Even in football season, even when she hangs out with her friends, and even when she tailgates and does all that stuff, she's still losing weight. You can even drink alcohol. Can you believe that? Well, Awaken 180 shows you how to swap calories, not flavor. You have to be disciplined, but they make it easy. Amber and I talk about this all the time. She can't believe how easy it is, and she's so excited about it. But what I will tell you is it's really working. I see how excited she is. I see the look on her face. I see how her self-esteem has changed and her confidence. It's one of the greatest things that's ever happened with my daughter, and it means that much to me. Now, Awaken 180 programs are reimbursable with your HSA or FSA, and those HSA dollars expire December 31st. Don't leave money on the table. Call Awaken 180 today and kickstart your transformation before the new year. Call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800, or go to awaken180weightloss.com.
Every Friday in the fall is Pregame Friday.
Is this what I think it is? Yes, it is.
We'll get you ready for the games. Who's in, who's out.
This is what I'm talking about.
Built by Dream Finders Homes. Homes built to fit your lifestyle on 1010XL.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dan Hicken with a game changer. I've tested the field, and Checkmate Coatings is my new go-to for durable, jaw-dropping floor coatings. Better play, better results. I'm Brendan from Checkmate Coatings. Our precision coatings make your floors the MVP of any space. Slam dunk your floors at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Come to Monahan Jewelers' 48th annual holiday sale now with up to 30% off on GIA certified diamonds and up to 40% off our entire store. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. We're not a big box store. We're your local family jeweler with an amazing hand-picked inventory for every budget. And with interest-free financing, enjoy beautiful jewelry with a low monthly payment. Support your local family jeweler this Christmas with up to 40% off our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach open 7 days a week in December.
Hey, Jags fans, Tommy Mack here. Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with Crown Royal Rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with generous spirit. Visit crownroyal.com/Royal Rig on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Best Bet is #1. That's right, Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play one card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war, just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. Learn all the games at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Cooking with Prisco.
These things are wonderful. You're going to love it. Have a rolling.
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Thanks to Spencer Tillman for joining us on that last segment. He covers college football, also covers the Houston Texans. He does a show for the Texans, so very familiar with this division and what Houston looks like. It's a wild story for them. I mean, we talk, Hacker, the teams that feel like they are one of the more difficult opponents, and I feel like the Bills are saying that. You were mentioning it. The Bills are saying that. The Chargers are saying that. We feel like that here in Jacksonville. Houston, at this point in time, have to be like, we have gotten hot at the exact right time, and that's going to be a conversation in this final couple of games.
It's funny. I got Cecil Shorts coming on my show tonight, and he was in Houston on Sunday for the game against the Raiders, and their game was going on the exact same time the Jaguars and the Broncos game was going on. So Cecil was telling me how they would only show updates when the Broncos did something well.
Yeah.
Because when the Broncos, they'd put it on the Jumbotron and the stadium would go nuts when R.J. Harvey scored to tie it at 17. And then he thought, man, we haven't seen any highlights in a while.
Yeah, something must be happening.
Every time Jacksonville did something, they would not show that in the stadium in Houston, because obviously the Texans need the Jaguars to lose in order to get the AFC South crown or have a shot at it. But I think it's good for the Jaguars that they have to keep winning.
Yeah.
Because like we said, Taylor, every other team in the AFC, every other contender seems to be winning every single week.
Yeah, and that's what, I mean, the AFC in general, there was a few weeks ago where I was like, I don't know what AFC team I would put at the top at this point in time. Let's say 4 or 5 weeks ago. It just felt like there were teams that were playing good but not great. And then now it feels like everybody in the AFC outside it. Like, I mean, look at what the Jags did to Denver. It makes me kind of feel like, okay, Denver went on that stretch of games. They weren't playing the best of opponents. Their offense looks clunky at times. Their defense is great, and that's part of it. But now the Jags figured out a recipe to be able to score a ton on the Denver Broncos. Do other teams watch that game and be like, oh, this is how you beat them?
Yeah, no, you're right. And to me, look, everybody's talking about the number 1 seed, and that's obviously a huge deal. But to me, it's a huge deal because of the bye, not because of home field.
Yeah.
When you have this amount of teams that have double-digit wins, and they've all beaten each other, New England went into Buffalo and won. Buffalo went into New England and won. Jacksonville went into Denver and won. It's not as if the Los Angeles Chargers are going to have some gigantic home field advantage if they win the AFC West. The bye week to me is important, but I think any of these teams of the top 6 or 7 in the division, and we're not even talking about Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Very quietly, the Steelers have gotten hot with Aaron Rodgers. I think any of these teams can go on the road and beat the other one.
Yeah, me too. And that's why I feel like this is that exciting. This is the football. Number one, you want us to be talking about playoff football, and we are.
It's so nice not to be doing mock draft simulations right now in late December.
There's 2 weeks left, and you've already clinched a playoff spot.
Yeah.
And that, after what last year looked like, it's the best feeling in the entire world. But it's also fun to talk about good football and, other teams being good and what the playoffs are going to look like. You and I were just having the discussion of, what if the Jags go to the Super Bowl? Like, what does this station, what does this city look like and feel like if Jags go to the Super Bowl?
I don't even want to even go there mentally right now, because that 2-week period from the AFC Championship game to the Super Bowl would be, I can't even describe what this city would be like.
Yeah.
I mean,
I saw what 2017 was like. It was one of the most fun couple weeks, or that couple weeks leading up to the AFC. You beat the Steelers, it's like this path of everything feeling so good. You and I both went up to Boston for that game, and obviously the game didn't end the way you wanted, but everything in Jacksonville, you're walking through stores, everybody has Jag stuff on, everything is teal and black, everybody's cars, they're flying the flags everywhere around the city, every billboard for every business had something about Duval or the Jacksonville Jaguars on it. It's just a whole different level.
I mean, 2022, the comeback against Herbert, same thing, the biggest or second biggest comeback in NFL postseason history, and they gave Mahomes all they wanted in the divisional round. They lost obviously late in the game, which was amazingly disappointing at the time. But maybe we should let our minds start going there a little bit. Yeah. They're 3 wins away. They're in the playoffs. Yeah. They win 3 playoff games, more than likely if they don't get the 1 seed. 3 playoff games, and they're going to San Francisco to play in the Super Bowl. A team that was 4-13 a year ago.
Yeah, insane. And you're not even a year away from firing your head coach and your general manager. And you're
the weird Zoom press conference with Trent Baalke and Shad Khan, that was this year. Yeah. That was 2025. And you think about how far this organization has come in the last 11 and a half months.
If you were to, let's say 3 things, if I were to ask you the 3 biggest things that have happened, whether it's through the offseason or during the season, that you feel like made this, outside of Liam Cohen's coaching directly, whether that's players or whatever the decisions may be, what would you name those 3 things being that has gotten the Jaguars to this point?
Well, one changed about 6 weeks ago, and that's the arrival of Jacoby Myers. Yeah. I don't know if the Jaguars are where they are right now without the arrival of Jacoby Myers, which is huge credit to James Gladstone for doing that. So I think Jacoby Myers would be one. I think the depth of this football team. What did James Gladstone talk about? He talked about intangibly rich ecosystems
and raising the floor.
Raising the floor of the roster. And you look at all the injuries the Jaguars have had. I mean, think about this. Every offensive lineman has missed at least one game.
Yeah.
Jordan Lewis, Eric Murray, Devin Lloyd, Trayvon Walker, Brian Thomas Jr. All these guys have missed time. And the next guy just comes right in. I mean, the floor of the roster. So Jacoby Myers' arrival, the depth on this football team, overcoming all these injuries. And honestly, the third thing, if we can't single out Liam Cohen, I'm going to single out Tony Baselli.
Yeah.
I think the impact that Baselli has made, not only in steering, Cohen and Gladstone and explaining to them, who the Jaguars are, the glory days, but I do think Baselli has played a vital role behind the scenes in what has gone on here. And I would lump Gladstone and Cohen obviously into that as well. There are so many other things you could mention, but obviously that trio, the depth of the roster, and the arrival of Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, I think I can make a whole list of things that I feel like directly correlated. Jacoby Myers is at the top of my list, and I think that at the same time, Brenton Strange came back, and I think that was huge too. But there's no denying what it feels like. Just aside from even what he's done statistically, what it feels like the whole room in general, all of the wide receivers are catching passes now when it was just such an issue. And that was what James Gladstone said. We're bringing a guy in here who catches the football. And it feels like that's rubbed off on everybody in the room at the perfect time. It was a problem here. I mean, it felt like every single game there was massive drops that were happening at the worst possible time. I also look at some of the guys who have stepped up into their roles of ones that were sometimes talking about, are they even going to be on this team through the season or after this year? Travis Etienne being one of the bigger ones, and what he's been able to do this season. Antonio Johnson, when he stepped in, the role that he's been able to play in this. Devin Lloyd, the role that he's been able to play in forcing these turnovers, and you missed him in those chunk of games that he was out and injured, and you could tell the difference that how much he impacted this team.
Well, and guys like Cole Van Lanen, right? I mean, at the beginning of the year, I don't think there were a lot of people going out there buying Cole Van Lanen and Quentin Morris and Danny Strigow and B.J. Green uniforms. And these guys to come in, a couple of undrafted free agents. You mentioned Antonio Johnson, a former fifth-round pick, and not just play roles, play vital roles on this team. Again, speaks to the job of this roster build by James Gladstone and Liam Cohen.
I agree. And I think that's 5-6 weeks ago, I remember going through and being like, man, you wonder where this is going to look at the free agents and the draft this year. It didn't look very well. You lost Caleb Ransall before the season started. Travis Hunter obviously gets on the injury report. Jordan Lewis was hurt, and it felt like everything was kind of falling apart in that time. But to your point, watching how some of the guys that were the depth of the guys that had to step in and play pivotal roles. I mean, you look at Trayvon Walker. You were missing Trayvon Walker, who before the season most people would say was one of the most vital pieces that you needed to be able to make this defense successful this year. Josh Hines-Allen wasn't performing crazy well, and then all of a sudden the switch flipped, and it felt like everybody felt like, okay, let's level up here because you have to, and we have a team that needs to level up at the right time.
There are so many people that think free agency needs to be the 26, 27-year-old on their second contract, the ascending player. And there is a part of that. I mean, Robert Hainsey was one of those guys. But look at Dennis Gardeck, Eric Murray, Jordan Lewis, Patrick McCary. Not household names, veterans in this league that played 5, 6, 7, 8 years before they even arrived here. The Jaguars aren't where they are without those guys. I mean, Dennis Gardeck has been one of the best defensive players on this team.
Yeah.
DeJuan Smoot coming back. A guy like Austin Johnson. We don't talk at all about Austin Johnson, yet he has been a very important part of the Jaguar interior defensive line. That's what I love about the roster build. It's not just about getting the 26-year-old big-priced free agent. It's about filling in those foundation pieces with the Dennis Gardecks, the Danny Strigows, the B.J. Greens of the world, and Gladstone, in my opinion, did that masterfully.
And ones that fit everything that you believe in. Like the buy-in from these guys have been huge from the beginning, and it's teams that, yes, come from all different levels. Some are coming from playoff teams, some are coming from not playoff teams. There's this combination of guys that you just feel like they fit so well, and that's been one of the most fun things to watch. But let's wrap this up. We have the cool down on the other side, then we'll say hello to the Frangie Show. But Lauren and Tommy are out. Hackers joining me today. today and tomorrow. You'll be back with me, Hacker. But let's cool down on the other side. That's coming up next here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels from the Greenlaw Group Studios. Get national insight from a local legend.
I know exactly who this man is.
Mike Duraco.
And we get his insight every Thursday from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony. Written by Lee and Kate's Glass on 1010XL.
It's December. You need cash. You also need a new Kia Fast. At Kia on Atlantic, you can get both because it's our year-end cash bash. And during the Kia Season of New Tradition sales event, make no payments for up to 6 months. Or take advantage of 0% APR. Hurry and get to the year-end cash bash. Online at KiaOnAtlantic.com. Kia on Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection. For complete details, call 904-250-0587.
Morgan Conley Roofing isn't just repairing roofs. He's building a legacy for generations to come. Born here, built here, staying here. MorganConleyRoofing.org. License number CCC 1333544.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, I'm worried.
You? Really? About what?
Well, I like to have a little seasonal potluck. You know, invite some friends and neighbors and guys from the office. But if the food gets spicy and the party gets rocking and that old toilet in the two-piece can't handle the traffic, well, what if my drain backs up right in the middle of everything?
Dude, imagine you're wearing my sunglasses.
Okay. Shoomp. Whoa.
If you're planning to host a holiday party and a blocked household drain line threatens to ruin the whole thing, call us and tell us. The drain clearing experts at Bueller Air & Plumbing will unclog your drain for free.
You do that for free?
It's Christmas.
Yeah, but for free?
The holidays can get pretty hectic. If a clogged drain line threatens to ruin the whole thing, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
It's a Helmets and Heels Tuesday, backed by Morgan & Morgan.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
The best financial move you can make this time of year? How about lowering your mortgage rate to 4.99% fixed APR, the lowest rate in years? How about getting up to $500,000 out of your home equity in the process? You can do it now by calling Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Prosser here, and with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get a ton of cash, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and skip up to 2 house payments. One homeowner just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Wiped out their credit cards and 2 car loans, saved $2,100 a month. So don't wait. No hard credit pull up front, and you probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Act now. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Start the new year by wiping out your high-interest debt. 904-999-1508. And you can see how much cash you can get today. That's loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's the Jaguars' final home game of the 2025 regular season, and you don't want to miss it. Join us for our fan appreciation game as the Jaguars face off against the Tennessee Titans in a can't-miss division matchup. It's your chance to cheer on the team as they take the field in their Prowler throwbacks for one last time this season. Secure your seats now and be a part of the action. Go to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
Ready to take your gift giving to the limit? Hey, I'm Ben Kay, owner of Gotham City Limit, your local comic shop, inviting you to stop by and see how we can help this holiday season. From comics to collectibles, community, and more, visit GothamCityLimit.com and always take it to the limit.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels. I'm joined by Hacker, Taylor Dahl here, RJ Saunders here. Hacker, Players with games of 100-plus receiving yards and a touchdown against the Broncos this year. Parker Washington.
Is that it?
That's it.
Wow.
That's the list.
Wow.
That is the list.
Good on Parker Washington. We knew he was a dynamite kick returner. To me, he probably should have been a Pro Bowler in that department. He's an alternate because former Gator Chim Dike from the Tennessee Titans apparently is a better returner than Parker Washington. But Parker's been great, and it's a good problem to have. But he and Brenton Strange are scheduled to become free agents after 2026.
Yeah.
And both former Penn State guys are going to be getting paid very soon here in Jacksonville.
What is that? What do you think? What's that number look like in
See,
your
well, it's
thought
weird because
process?
Jacoby Myers just got $20 million a year. Now you're going to have to theoretically pay Brian Thomas a year after you pay Parker, I think.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter's going to be due money at some point down the line too. So I don't know how Gladstone's going to frame all this, but I'm not letting Parker Washington anywhere near the free agency window. I mean, he is going to be a Jaguar as far as I'm concerned for a while. So I will do whatever it takes to keep he and both Brenton Strange here for a long time.
Yeah, same with me. And I think that when he's just somebody in that clip when he was talking about, we heard when RJ did that montage about those yak yards too. That's just been it's something that I felt like has been the issue in Jacksonville for a while. Last year, that deep threat, the connection that BTJ had downfield, that was one of the things, and those yak yards came. But this year, with what Jacoby Myers and him can do after the catch, has been really fun to watch. It's been massive in some of these games.
And in the interest of fairness, Taylor, I mean, look, we killed the guy, but that was a Trent Baalke 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
I mean,
At least he did something for him.
I'm not a Trent Baalke fan by any stretch of the imagination, but Brenton Strange was a guy that I'm willing to bet most Jaguar fans did not know who he was when they drafted him in round 2. And then Parker Washington in round 6. Baalke did a bunch of stuff that was awful.
Yep.
Give him his
There's a
flowers
few
when he
things.
deserves it. And the Parker Washington 6th-rounder looks really, really good.
If I were to tell you preseason that Parker Washington would lead the team in receiving yards and Travis Etienne would lead the team in receiving touchdowns, would you have believed me?
I would have thought we would have been in for a very, very long year. I might have believed you based on the history of the Jaguar organization, but in no way, shape, or form did I think they'd be 11-4 under those circumstances.
And that to me is one of the bigger things that maybe we don't talk about enough is the running backs and how they use them in the receiving room and receiving touchdowns. The Jags didn't have any receiving touchdowns by their running backs last year. This was Lauren had that stat back in July, and she was like, so I'd expect more. I think we'll have, at least 3-4 receiving touchdowns by the running backs. You have a lot. You have a lot.
Well, and look, and I think that's something we haven't talked a lot about because they're winning games. They are not running the ball particularly
as well as they were earlier.
And if you have to go to New England and it's 20 degrees in Foxborough, or if, heaven forbid, you have to go back to Denver into that hornet's nest where they would be ready for the Jaguars, if the Jaguars had to go back there in the playoffs, you need to run the football because I love what Trevor's doing, but I don't know if you're throwing for 300 yards in Foxborough in the elements in the AFC Championship game. So they were dynamic at running the football for the first month and a half of the year. For whatever reason, it just hasn't been as effective as of late. You would like to see it get back on track against Indy and Tennessee leading into the postseason.
Do you think in part some of that may just be because they were running the ball so well that teams have focused more on the run, and now that's opened things for the offense, so maybe we see a shift again where they're not stacking boxes the way they were because Trevor Lawrence is playing out of his mind right now?
That's probably the hope. That's the hope, or they're just simply not doing a very good job at running the football. It's one of the two. Because, again, ETN, I mean, we're talking about his receiving touchdowns. Well, the reason he scored 4 times in the last 2 games is because he's caught those passes. He has not run one in of those 4 touchdowns. So, again, I mean, we're nitpicking. They're 11-4, and they're in the playoffs.
I'm not complaining.
No, I'm not complaining at all. I just know, and we all know, that if you have to go to Foxborough or if you have to go back to Denver in the cold in January, you need to be able to run the football a little bit.
Yeah, you look at his stats, Travis Etienne's early on, and that first game against Carolina, 8.9 yards an attempt. That's not sustainable.
No.
But what you want to see is more of those high 4-point something, 5-point whatever. That's where you kind of want to see it. When you look early in the year, it was 8.9, 5.1, not the best against Houston with 3.5, but then 6.5, 4.1, 5.5. Since then, 3.1, 2.1, 2.7, 3.7, 2.3. So to your point, it's just not happening the way it was early on. And I mean, maybe there's multiple factors in that, but it does feel like that's something you want to see get back on track for the postseason, especially.
And I don't need 175 yards on the ground for ETN. What I need is more 3rd and 3s and no more 3rd and 7s, right? Give me 3 yards on first down. Give me 3 yards on second down. Give me a 3rd and 4 where Trevor can use his legs or have the offense wide open. Don't get me into 2nd and 9 and then into 3rd and 8, and then you're relying on Trevor to convert 3rd and 8s over and over and over, because I don't think that's going to be very sustainable in a bad weather game in January.
Yeah, which we've seen that was one of the issues last year and in the first half of the season, those 3rd downs. Jags were one of the worst 3rd down teams in the NFL. In these last few weeks, you've really started to see that get going. You've seen the penalties lessen, which were two of the bigger issues. So you're seeing certain things get better, but the one thing that felt like your biggest strength early or in the run game has what's kind of fallen back a little bit.
You mentioned that. You got piqued my interest there. The key word is we're going to clean it up. And you heard Doug Peterson say that a lot, and you've heard Liam say it a lot. Well, Doug Peterson just kept saying it, and nothing ever happened. Nothing was cleaned up. It became messier and messier, and then at one point it was just gross, and then he was fired. Well, Liam Cohen talks about cleaning stuff up, and lo and behold, last week, they only got 2 penalties that were accepted by Denver. They have cleaned the penalties up in recent weeks, which is nice to see. Yeah.
Yep. I think it's been, like I said, there's been things that throughout the season, including Trevor Lawrence, including the penalties, including 3rd down, including red zone, all of those things have improved. But I do think, to your point, the playoffs is when you want to have all your strengths at their best, and the run game kept you in a lot of games early in the season. And so you want to get that back, because if you can run the ball the way you were earlier and Trevor's playing the way that he's playing right now, you can beat anybody.
Well, yes. That's the thing. In the AFC, the Jaguars can absolutely beat anybody. But again, we talk about the other markets that are in the playoffs. In Buffalo, they feel they can beat anybody. In New England, they feel they can beat anybody. There is not a dominant team in the AFC. It is going to be a battle royal with these 7 teams that get in, and it is going to be fascinating to see how it plays out.
Oh, yeah. Let's wrap things up on the other side here and say hello to the Frangie Show. That's coming up next on Helmets and Heels right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Protected by
Green Law Group. For the insured. Fighting for you.
Life's full of thrills, like fixing what's broken and hearing it roar back to life. But for the accident attorneys at Farah & Farah, one thrill beats them all.
It's the thrill of the win. When the team moves as one, every hand, every step on point, putting in the hours, reviewing every detail, because the client deserves that. And when I've gotten to say, you're good, we've got it covered, that's the payoff. Yeah, we're built for that.
Call Farah & Farah, Jacksonville.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. Chick-fil-A Catering is here to help make it a little easier to bring your family together this holiday season. Whether you need a full meal, a side dish, or dessert, choose from a variety of trays like Chick-fil-A nuggets, mac and cheese, and brownies. Perfect for any size get-together. You can easily order through the Chick-fil-A app. Place your order in the app, online, or by calling ahead, then pick it up at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Take one thing off your plate this holiday season and bring the smiles to your family gathering with Chick-fil-A. Availability and order requirements may vary. See restaurant for details.
Do you want to grow your career with a company that's committed to growing with you? Florida Home AC has aggressive plans to double their workforce, and they're looking for determined, resourceful people with initiative. Just log on to FloridaHomeAC.com/careers to find out more.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday is
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan.
If you need a holiday gift idea, let Kuhn Flowers handle that for you. This is Max with 1010XL. Simply go online to kuhnflowers.com and look at the wide variety of floral and plant arrangements that will make someone's day this holiday season.
Checkmate.
I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, adorable mascot for Checkmate Coatings.
If you're thinking of refinishing your garage floor, there's 2 things you need to know about us. My family has been in the concrete coatings industry for more than 40 years.
And I was drawn 6 months ago by an artist in New Jersey.
Why is that even relevant?
Well, you said 40 years experience, so I had to give them something.
Over the years, we've worked closely with major manufacturers to develop a multi-layer application process that creates beautiful, durable, and long-lasting floors.
So even decades from now, your garage floor will look as gorgeous as it did the day it was installed.
Experience?
Check. Durable?
Check. Decades of experience making garage floors gorgeous? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
It's the best time of year for sports. Bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes, it's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which games to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code 1010XL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code 1010XL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Come over here, sit next to me. We can see what
Wrapping things up here on Helmets and Heels. Hacker's in the house. Hacker will join me tomorrow also, while Lauren Brooks and Tom McManus are on vacation. So one more show for, I guess, both of us, because you are also off tomorrow night. I will 2 for today, for tomorrow, but then you only have Helmets and Heels tomorrow.
Yeah, I got tonight Hacker After Dark. It'll be an award-winning edition of Hacker After Dark, the last one before Christmas, but then I'll be back here with you tomorrow from 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock, and then, yeah, you won't hear from me again on the radio until the 5th quarter, Sunday, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Colts go final.
Yeah, talking about a win.
Hopefully talking about division championship.
Yes,
that would be the ideal scenario.
Hacker, I wanted to read this. We were talking on that last segment a little bit about the things that have improved with this team, and I mentioned the third down rate, the third down percentage being one of those things that preseason, if I were to, we made a list of things that we wanted to see get better the most. And that third down was one of my biggest things, because that was just something last year that I felt like no matter what it was, if it was a 3rd and 8 or if it was a 3rd and 2, the Jaguars weren't able to convert whatever it was. Trevor Lawrence QBR on third down in the last 3 games, 99.9, 99.9, 96.5. 100 is perfect, by the way, for people that don't know. 15.3 yards an attempt and 21.9 yards of completion.
Well, I mean, and you talk about third down, Denver going into last week had allowed a league best 31% conversions on third down. The Jaguars converted 53% of their third downs, 8 out of 15. Yeah. And also, Denver was the best red zone defense in the league. Jacksonville scored 4 touchdowns, and if you'll remember, Jacoby Myers had the 5th one in his hands, and the Denver DB made a great play and swiped down. But arguably, Trevor had them in the position to go 5 for 5 in the red zone against the best red zone defense in the NFL.
Yeah, that's the numbers that you want to hear at this point in time. We talk about all the time playing your best football in December, and they are. I mean, there's no denying that they've played their best football games this last 3-4 weeks, but even 5-6 weeks, you want to say, when it comes to both sides of the ball. And that's without, we were just talking about not being able to run the ball. The way you were early on in the season, but they're still able to. Trevor's playing out of his mind right now. The offensive line continues, even with 5 sacks. You're talking about a Denver defense that's what they do. That's their specialty, is get to the quarterback. And in that second half of the game, when it mattered most, you were able to shut them down for the most part.
Look, you and I started the show talking about Coach of the Year candidates, and again, your guy Ben Johnson in Chicago, great job. Vrabel in New England, great job. Mike McDonald in Seattle has done a great job. Kyle Shanahan, obviously an established coach, but they have been riddled with injuries. Yep. Great job. Taylor, maybe I got my teal and black blinders on here, but there has not been a guy that has done a better job than Liam Cohen. From 5-18 prior to his arrival, losing Travis Hunter in practice, and none of it mattered because he's got him 11-4 and arguably the best team in the AFC entering the month of January.
Yeah, and that's one of the things when you look at it, I think that for me, the biggest thing with Liam Cohen and there's other parts of this. It's Udinski and the other guys that are in that room helping Trevor Lawrence. But there were moments in this last year and a half where I've been like, I don't know what tier I'm putting Trevor on, and I was not saying I didn't ever think he was a bust and a bad quarterback, but I was starting to get on that path of I think maybe he is what he is, and there's going to be really good moments and really low moments, and he's having Trevor play his best football that I've ever seen and the most consistent, I feel like.
I'll be honest, I went to a dark place that interception Trevor threw against Las Vegas in the end zone. Now that was only like 7 weeks ago. I almost turned heel at that point on Trevor, but from that point forward, and really since the Arizona game, Trevor Lawrence has been a top 5, dare I say a top 3 quarterback in the league, and I think it's due in large part to the work Liam Cohen has put in.
Yes. Let's say hello to Hayes Carline and the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hello, Hayes. We have
Good to see you.
Jacksonville Jaguars heading to the playoffs. No matter they're going.
Yeah.
2 weeks left. You've already clinched a playoff berth spot. That's huge. We're talking about Trevor Lawrence, and right now 4th in MVP odds in the NFL,
Really?
which
Wow.
is huge.
Okay.
Someone actually on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures brought that up, but not a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, and again, I think it's just the first half of the season left so much to be desired. We're not that far removed from him being 25th in passer rating among 27 qualified quarterbacks. So he's been great, obviously, over these last 4 games. But I think it was going to be tough with having the tough first half that he had. But forget all that.
Yeah.
Tell me about what it was like being in that stadium. DJ Moore, Caleb Williams walking it off. What a moment.
Insane. I was telling Hacker, it was one of probably the craziest game I've ever seen live. And the fans, the stadium, you couldn't hear anything. I mean, your ears were ringing with how loud it was in there. And 5 minutes left in that game, you're down 10 points, and it's freezing cold. It was 13 degrees with the wind chill at that moment. And I literally looked at my cousin. I was like, if I flew up here and sat in the freezing cold for us to score 6 points, I'm going to be so angry leaving the stadium and how quickly things changed. And that's what, I mean, we talk a ton about what Liam Cohen's done here. Ben Johnson's done a fantastic job in Chicago. You talk about buy-in with players. You talk about what he's done with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams last year regressed so bad throughout the season because of Shane Waldron, because of just not having the support around him. And then Caleb Williams now has some of I think, like 3rd highest explosive play rate, has sacked
He's incredible.
Pressure to sack ratio.
That was the best throw I've seen this year.
It's insane. I mean, it's just, and then the moment you need it to happen. So yeah, it was wild.
Well, I loved your video. It was really cool.
I almost fell. I was like, I'm gonna fall down these stands at this point in time. But
yeah, that was
11-4 football with the Jags and the Bears is insane.
Amazing.
I
It's
don't
the year of Taylor.
It's the Taylor year. I told Hacker though, I was like, I don't think everyone's like Bears Jags Super Bowl. I don't think I can handle that. Like, I don't think I can.
I can handle it.
Yeah. I would be just fine with that, actually. Sign me up for that right now.
Absolutely.
All right, Hayes, what do you guys have
coming up on the Frangie Show, we'll certainly talk lots of Jaguars. We'll do our NFL Rewind and have headlines as well. So lots of fun stuff coming up on the Frangie Show.
Thanks, Hayes.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that does it for us today, Hacker. I will see you tomorrow. We have one more show together. And then what do you have coming up tonight?
Yeah, Cecil Shorts, former Jaguar wide receiver. We'll hear from Leon Searcy, the coach Mark Duffner as well. So a lot to do from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock tonight here on Hacker After Dark.
All right, we look forward to it. That does it for us today on Helmets and Heels. For Hacker, for Taylor Dahl, for RJ Saunders, for the vacationing Lauren Brooks and Tom McManus. That does it for Helmets and Heels, and we will see and chat with you guys tomorrow right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.